Nashville, and this is Around This Town. Support comes from the Southern Environmental Law Center. Solutions to our greatest environmental challenges start in the South. Learn how SELC makes a difference at southernenvironmental.org. And WTJU is supported by Piedmont Paint and Finish, professional painters for residential and commercial properties since 2007. Piedmont Paint delivers interior and exterior home painting with experience working in both new and older homes. Piedmont Paint specializes in lead-safe practices and will tackle the most challenging projects, large and small. More information at piedmontpaint.com. Ed Griffin here, Around This Town. We're really lucky to have a native son back today. Will Overman is our guest, and he is at the stage here on Ivy Road at WTJU. We're going to welcome Will. He's going to start right off. We're going to get a chance to meet him and talk at length. But first, here's Will Overman.
All right. Anything we complained about the rent for a place we haven't stopped talking about since the rainy day that goes by. No binding lease that I wouldn't sign for a moment in that yellow kitchen with you. Can you believe we complained about the drive to the bars, but we were never going out that night? Buck naked and a bottle of wine, warm by the fire, eating cold fried rice. Rain and snow, we were shaking all the time. An apartment on a back street in a small town. Tread lightly, love quietly, don't you make a sound. Because a man downstairs smoking cigarettes and left the landlord knocking at 5 about apartment, better times. You remember when I got lit with the boys at the river's end? Too gone to drive, forgot to call, and I was leaving when I stumbled in. 3 words turn into one, a bed becomes a couch when the whiskey has won. I love you, I'm sorry, mean the same. An apartment on a back street in a small town. Tread lightly, love quietly, don't you make a sound. Because a man downstairs smoking cigarettes and left the landlord knocking in 5 about apartments, better times. And I had a dream where I couldn't find you, learning to live without I'm lying right next to you. There ain't a day that goes by, no binding lease that I would not sign for a moment in that yellow kitchen with you. For a moment in that yellow kitchen with you. Thank you so much, guys. It is great to be here playing for y'all at WTJU on this cozy, rainy day here. That song was actually about Charlottesville, and I've not played that in a hot minute. I figured I would bust it out this afternoon. I used to live over in the Fries Springs neighborhood, right behind Wayside Chicken, and that song is about where I used to live. It was like a top and bottom duplex, and the song's called Bad Apartment, but it wasn't really that bad of an apartment. It was just, it was quirky, to say the least. I think the downstairs tenant had like put trash bags over the windows, and I'd see him like once every 2 weeks with a full Tupperware of just empty Budweisers. And yeah, so it was about that. It was a funny time in my life. I was in college. I was living in Charlottesville, and I sing that song with a lot of reverence for this place. And it's great to be back playing for you guys today. I'm going to keep the quiet vibes going. I live in Nashville these days and spend a lot of my time co-writing with other people. And one of my favorite co-writes recently has been with a buddy of mine named Austin Plain. And Austin and I were sitting down this spring to write a song, and I had just gotten a brand new Sony camera. I've been trying to get a new camera forever. I had just gotten this new Sony and a new lens. And the night before, as I was getting ready for this write, I started writing a verse about a new camera. And there was something about it where I was like, that's going to be the one that I take to Austin. He's going to be a good write for this one. It turns out he was. We wrote this song called 1,000 Frames a Second. And one of my favorite songs to play these days. I got a brand new camera and a brand new lens. I've been waiting for years to upgrade my kit. Had to pawn some pedals, pick up a few shifts, but hell, I'm pretty good at barely making rent. The last thing he said when I was back home, the pain didn't come from being alone. He said I never took the time to look around and see what I'd be missing. But I still see you in the kitchen, in the ghost of the morning, dancing around your pretty soul. And I'm still missing the way you cut without a warning, your sundress and your dirty nails. And now the garden's overgrown, and I'm still missing. And I'm still missing. Found some Kodak film of you in the rain, out of focus by Lake Champlain. I told you not to move, should've known nothing stays. Now I count these days like frames on a wall, and I ask myself how far I gotta fall in a dark room, hanging on to what I'd be missing. But I still see you in the kitchen, in the ghost of the morning, dancing around your pretty soul. And I'm still missing the way you cut without a warning, your sundress and your dirty nails. And now the garden's overgrown, and I'm still missing. And I'm still missing you. I got a brand new camera and a brand new lens. I've been waiting for years to upgrade my kit, but 1,000 frames a second can't capture what I didn't catch. Thank you, guys.
So, Will, You started in Virginia Beach. You grew up in Virginia Beach. I noticed, obviously, that song you referenced Vermont. You took a side trip to Vermont. Tell us a little bit about your travels.
Yeah, I've been all over. The side trip to Vermont. That's funny. That was a failed college venture up there. We can call that a side trip. I like that.
At UVM?
Yeah, at UVM.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, so I grew up in Virginia Beach and grew up surfing and spent a lot of my time on the water there. And if I wasn't at the beach, I was usually in the mountains here out in like Rockbridge County. And I graduated high school there and hiked the Appalachian Trail right after high school. And after that, I went to the University of Vermont, which was the failed college venture there. And I was in Vermont for a few months, and then I moved back down to Charlottesville to go to UVA. It was kind of funny. I moved here to like go to UVA, but at the same time push my music career. I think it might have been 60-40 music career. And came here, and I lived in Charlottesville for roughly 7 or 8 years. So this area is very, very important to me.
Well, and it's interesting because Burlington, where the University of Vermont is kind of a music town, although a lot colder, especially if you've been on Lake Champlain in December. Mm-hmm. And here you are in Charlottesville, which is rich with music tradition.
Absolutely. And I think, weren't the downtowns designed by the same people? I'm pretty sure.
I don't know that, but they are very, very similar, where you have the mall here and the mall in Burlington, mm-hmm. and it's a beautiful city, but it is cold when that wind whips across the lake.
I made the mistake of starting my semester in January, and I love to ski, but I learned quickly that as a Southerner, when you say you love to ski, it means you love to like go to the snow for like a week, and then come back, and it's like 50 degrees here, and there it's like, no, it's gonna be negative 15 for 3 months, and it will snow, and the snow will sit here for 6 weeks and get brown, and as you New Yorkers, you guys get that.
Yeah.
And we just go to the snow. We're like, it's so beautiful. It's so pretty. I love this. And then I realized I was just too soft for that.
Yeah, it's a tough life.
Yeah.
Hey, so we're going to get back to the music. If you're just joining us, this is Around This Town. Will Overman, who is from Virginia originally, now based in Nashville. When did you make the move to Nashville?
So kind of a long story. I spent the COVID years actually living in Crozet. I used to own a house out there. And when that was we were kind of coming out of it in 2021 in the summer, I moved to Nashville for the first time and spent a little less than a year there. And then some personal stuff happened in my life and got divorced and kind of the bottom fell out. Moved back home with my dad to Virginia Beach to figure it out for about a year. And then I moved back last May. So I always tell people I've been working in and out of Nashville for like almost 4 years now. But I've been living there full time again for a little over a year.
Well, it's crazy because if you really spend some time listening to your music, and you can hear some of those references about Virginia just being an exit sign, mm-hmm. Which is just a classic lyric in Virginia's for Lovers. But listen, we could talk here right till about 5 o'clock, I think. Let's get back to the music with Will Overman.
Right on. Well, you just gave me the next song idea, so thank you. Virginia is one of my favorite places on the planet. I love this land. I love these people, and I put out a single earlier this year called "Virginia's for Lovers," and I always have to tell people. It's always like my older relatives, but that I do indeed love Virginia, because the chorus is "Virginia's for lovers, but I hate it tonight," which does not mean I hate this place at all. But it's really about one of the greatest loves I think we have in life, and that is the love for our home. Whether it's the home state, hometown, city, a block, whatever it is. I think there's a very specific type of love we have for our hometown, and it's everything that we're trying to get away from. Maybe it's the identity we don't like about ourselves. It's a past. It's a family thing, whatever. But it's also the entire thing that you identify with and made you who you are. So I think it's a very specific type of love, and there's a little bit of hate in there every now and then. Maybe just tonight. So I don't hate Virginia for anybody listening over the airwaves. And I wrote this song with my friend Caleb Jones, also a Nashville-based guy, who spent some time living up in Fredericksburg. So we both shared disdain for 95. There was a little bit of true hate there for 95. This is Virginia's for Lovers. Kissed you on the Potomac, said I loved you by the James. Still can't afford Georgetown, thought you loved me just the same. And I know when nothing's perfect, but it wasn't worth the fight. Virginia is for lovers, but I hate it tonight. Ooh, used to meet in Ashland, watch the trains all going by. We'd wonder where they're going with all our precious time. And now you're haunting the bars of my mid-20 nights, a little too drunk in a stupid little fight. We made out in the corner, but we didn't make it out alive. Virginia is for lovers, but I hate it tonight. Virginia is for lovers, but I hate it tonight. And I'll sing at Shenandoah with the dogwoods flying fast. I get sad passing Bristol, watching the Blue Ridge going flat. It's still hot as hell in Nashville. Is it cool out on the coast? I thought Tennessee's where I'd want to be, but instead I just write songs about coming home. They say Virginia is for lovers, but I hate it tonight. Virginia is for lovers, but I hate it tonight. It was skyline drive, laughing and slapping my hand. It was worth a try. Oh, baby, like you and I. But I hate it tonight. Oh, I hate it tonight. I tried starting over, but I couldn't leave you behind. We said Virginia was forever, but now we're saying goodbye. We said Virginia was forever, but now it's just an exit sign. It says Virginia is for lovers, but I hate it tonight. Virginia is for lovers, but I hate it tonight. Virginia is for lovers, oh, but I hate it tonight. Virginia is for lovers, oh, but I hate it tonight. Yeah, I hate it tonight. Thanks, guys. Thank y'all. Thank you so much. I'm gonna play one I've only actually played out a couple times now. So little that I don't even know what key it's in. I went down to Texas earlier this spring, and I was on the road for about a month. And I got back to Nashville desperately needing a day to myself, a shower and some good food and just to get myself right. But I had to fly to Virginia for a one-off date for a gig that meant a lot to me. It was a charity type of gig, and I was very happy to do it. But I really didn't want to leave my house at all, and I made the really smart decision of getting hammered the night before, and. So the next day, as if I wasn't already down bad enough from being on the road for a month, I had to walk through the Nashville airport hungover, which is the worst airport to be in of all time because it's like a mini Broadway because every honky-tonk is there. So you're like just trying to keep your head on straight, and you're walking down, you're hearing like Keith Whitley covers coming at you and Kenny Chesney and like Chicken Fried and all, and you're just like, this is the worst. This is terrible. So naturally, I wrote a song about it while sitting at the gate. And yeah, we'll see if I get this right. I've only played this out a couple times. I couldn't think of a better title than Hungover at B&A, so we're going with that for now. There's nothing like the silence in my head when the band drives away. There's nothing like the space in my bed when she don't want to stay. Now I'm burning off a hangover at B&A. Been gone for a month and touched down for a day. Got some laundry to do and some bills to get paid. Call me cowboy when I'm on stage. But off the road I forget my name. Just a pair of boots getting on a plane. Had 7 paid to Memphis, thank God it was a guarantee. I got low mileage on the engine, but she wobbles when I'm towing at speed. Seagrams and peanuts at 30,000 feet. There's a man in a suit in the aisle across from me. There are easier ways to get from A to B, but I've chosen to do what I love. And most days that's more than enough. It's more than enough. Caught the Thursday to Richmond, $80 on a Legionnaire. I go fishing with my dad on a river a few hours west of there. I catch up with my sister and see how she's been, and ask her advice on various women. Then I go back to the new place I'm trying to call home and try to remember my name. Sobered up and going insane. Just a pair of boots getting off a plane. Thanks, guys. Thank y'all. Thanks so much, guys. Is it okay if I plug some stuff here? Is that cool? Okay. If you're listening out there on the airwaves, I'm on tour right now, actually, and I'm touring with my band for the last full band dates of the year. We're going to be in Harrisonburg at the Golden Pony this Thursday. Then we're going to be down in Elizabeth City on Friday, and then on the 30th, we are headlining the Virginia State Fair, which is kind of a dream come true for me. So if you want to come see the full band rock out in a very different setting and vibe than this, come join us.
Hey, Will, who is in your band now?
That's a good question. So the drummer is sitting about 8 feet from me right now, who's also my manager. That's Evan Hunsberger. And he's in Richmond, but he's a Harrisonburg Valley boy at heart. And Ryan Lee, he's playing bass for me, and he lives down the road here in Charlottesville. And then on keys is Stephen Roach, and he's also in Richmond. So a lot of Virginia in this band.
That's awesome.
It's great. It's really nice. Yeah.
So just to continue on this road theme, you've got these, which is bringing you back to Virginia. You've got the 2 shows here. Show you got a 270-mile trip down to North Carolina for tomorrow. I'm sure that van has seen some miles and a few sets of tires.
It has. Yeah, probably not enough tires, but it has seen some
Right,
tires.
just a pass inspection.
Yep, exactly.
But you're back, though, in October on a tour that you guys are calling Willin', that is going to be pretty extensive throughout the Southeast. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I can. I'm joining William Matheny, who's out of West Virginia, and we're playing a handful of small cap rooms throughout the Southeast and the Midwest. And his name's William. My name's Will, so we thought, why not use a Little Feat song as the theme on it? And it's going to be great. I love doing these solo co-bill tours. I've done quite a few now. And I think there's something special about having space for just 2 artists in the room to share songs in a really intimate setting like this. It's one of my favorite ways to tour.
Yeah, that's hitting North Carolina, South Carolina, Kentucky, and West Virginia. And then you're back in Charlottesville on December 5th with a boy named Banjo at the Jefferson Theater.
I am. Yep. I think that's one of my most looked forward to dates.
And you actually are going to be on the road with them for a while.
I am. Yep. I'm doing, I think, roughly 10 dates with those guys all across the country. Going to be in Chicago, going to be in St. Paul.
Massachusetts.
We're up north. Yep. It should be really great. I love those guys. They're awesome.
Yeah, so that's a great show, especially a great venue to see you for those that are looking for something to do on a cool December evening.
Absolutely. I think the Jefferson, I've actually talked to the Boy Named Banjo guys about this. The Jefferson is their favorite venue that they play, and they play all over this country.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, if you're just joining us, Will Overman is breaking out this first hour on Around This Town.
Right on. Let's see, you guys. I'm gonna play a song off my first record here, or actually my first record technically. This song was inspired by what I thought were aliens, but they weren't aliens. I lived in Santa Monica, California for a second, just a quick second. And I was going out to eat one night, and over my kale salad, I looked up in the sky, and I thought that we were being invaded by aliens. But no one else seemed to care in all of Los Angeles, and I was really confused. I was like, should I call my loved ones? Should I rob a bank? I don't know what I should do right now. And it was concerning, to say the least. It looked like a giant jellyfish in the sky. And I started running around and taking photos, and I was kind of freaking out. And I got online and realized that SpaceX had done a launch that night over to Los Angeles. And it took some fear away. But I really did think I was going to die over a kale salad, which wasn't the way that I planned on going. And it inspired this song. So thank you, SpaceX and kale salad. If you're listening on the radio, all these little metallic sounds you hear, it's me changing my harmonicas. Just letting you know. The song's called Miss California. You were sitting on Lincoln, I was sitting on Main. Story of my life, running 5 minutes late. It late traffic's no excuse, but it's hard to take. You were halfway through a glass of Chardonnay. I said, I'm sorry, but that's okay. I got an appetizer coming, won't you tell me about your day? That's when I saw it, the rapture in your eyes. Sat down just long enough for me to realize that the sky was falling and I was calling you darling. Stars are colliding, I say they're aligning. I was meant to die in your arms. Venice Beach, October, never thought I'd be over. California, here I am. And I was thinking about the early days before you were sick and everything was more. Look at this and let's do that. The Golden State smiling back. Jiffy Pop and PBR on the PCH. Love is simple when you're underage. The sky was falling and I was calling you darling. Stars are colliding, I say they're aligning. I was meant to die in your arms. Venice Beach, October, never thought I'd be over. California again. This California, here I am. City of angels, city of devils. I went through hell in paradise. Darling, I would do it all over if it gets you here alive. So let's drink to this, Miss California. You're all right. Thank you so much, y'all. Thank you, guys. I've got a new record coming out early next year. And A lot of these songs, including this next one, are going to be on that record. This one's got kind of a two-part story to it. I was visiting my mom a couple years ago. She lives down in Wilmington, North Carolina. And we were talking about life. We were talking about shared life experiences and whatnot. And my mom always seems to have the best, most sage wisdom. And we were sitting on the back porch, and she goes, she tells me, she goes, Will, you can't go back. And I always joke that that's great advice, but that's cryptic. It's very cryptic. That's confusing, Mom. And I didn't really know what to think of it because I was like, well, obviously you can't go back. I know that. But it got me thinking, and I think it was right after that I went to Nashville for a series of co-writes. And I took this idea to my friend Will Pellerin. And we started talking about that concept of not being able to go back, but maybe you can always go back home. That's like the one place you can't go back to. And we started talking about home. And he's from the Adirondacks, and I'm from Virginia Beach. And like I said, I grew up either in the ocean or in the mountains. And he grew up in the mountains, and we both were saying how when we're in Nashville, we feel very sequestered there, a little claustrophobic. You're like 12 hours from any ocean, and you're like 4.5, 5 hours from the mountains. So we started talking about that, and it inspired us to write this song. It's coming out next year. It's called Somewhere Upstate. Trying to find time to kill, trying to fill up these days. Been talking to my therapist, and this guy doesn't mess around. He said you can't go back, but you can always come back home. And I drove out to the west side, and I forgot why I came. I got lost in a cul-de-sac with your last words on my brain. You said you can't go back, but you can always come back home. I might head to West Virginia, hold up in the middle of the winter. Maybe go feel small somewhere upstate. And in her arms, my sanctuary. Now it's truck stops in January. And if I can't go back, I'm taking the long way home. There goes a lazy daisy where I told you that I loved you. And it's a shame we like to travel, 'cause you're there no matter how far I drive. Oh, you can't go back, but you can always come back home. And I might head to West Virginia, hold up in the middle of the Maybe go feel small somewhere upstate. And in her arms, my sanctuary. Now it's truck stops in January. And if I can't go back, I'm taking the long way home. It's just one bar and a million stars. And no reason to call her. I don't know who you are. We're two worlds apart. Man, it's really snowing. I might head to West Virginia, hold up in the middle of the winter. Maybe go feel small somewhere upstate. And in her arms, my sanctuary. Now it's truck stops in January. And if I can't go back, I'm taking a long way home. I might head to West Virginia, hold up in the middle of the winter. Maybe go feel small somewhere upstate. And in her arms, my sanctuary. Now it's truck stops in January. And if I can't go back, I'm taking the long way home. But you can always come back home. Home. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
So, Will, when do you expect the new record to come out next year?
Hopefully early 2025. We're hoping March or April. We're not sure just yet, but that's our time frame.
The singles from this year, will they appear on that, or are they separate?
No, they're going to be on that. So Names and Virginia's for Lovers are going to be on that record.
All right. So I think I know just by listening to you talk, but are you a lyrics guy first and then chase the music?
I'd say 99% of the time I'm lyrics first.
Okay.
Yep. I record progressions and ideas that are separate, and then I'll that's the way I'm sometimes music first, is that I'll have like just this nice chord progression that I'll bring into lyrics that I've already got, but I'm pretty much always thinking of the hook or some lyrical concept first and then applying the music to it.
What's the, I want to close the books on Nashville here because you're in Virginia this week, but what's the biggest advantage that you have now being in Nashville?
That's a good question. I think the biggest advantage for me being in Nashville is just the general sense of needing to always get better. I think, in the same way that a rising tide raises all ships, with the level and quality of output in Nashville, I've strived to be better, even when I don't know that I'm striving to be better. There's just the writing level is so high, the playing level is so high, the vocals are so high. Like everything that I do is being done at the highest level there. And I think it's just made me a better performer and player.
Which percentage of your songs are you writing yourself and which are co-writes? Because it sounds like, friends of mine that are in Nashville, there's always a co-write going on someplace, but in your world, how does that break down?
It depends. I write a lot solo, and I love solo writing. That's the way I started. But I've intentionally tried to do a lot of co-writing after moving to Nashville. This record has
mostly co-writes on it. I'm trying to think if there's actually a single solo write on it, and I can't think of one. So I think this one's a lot of co-writes. It's definitely my story, though. That's kind of the way I like to go into a lot of writing sessions. Like, sometimes I'll go in and we're just writing a song out of thin air, what feels good for us as two artists to write about in the moment. But with this record, I was really trying to tell like a certain story about a certain chapter of my life, and I went to a lot of the co-writers like kind of with ideas I already had. So in that way, that these songs, even though they're co-writes, they really feel like mine, which is nice.
Now, we know you don't like the airport, but but other than that, what is the thing that drives you crazy about Nashville?
Oh God.
I mean, well, maybe we'll
I could give you a list real quick. The summer heat is unbearable. Like August is pretty miserable. Okay, let's see. The bachelorette parties get pretty brutal. Broadway in general, and the fact that I think I'm going to pop all 4 tires on my truck every time I drive down the street because of the roads, that drives me pretty crazy.
Gotcha.
Yep. Yeah.
Hey, if you're just tuning in, this is Will Overman, and he is in town for some shows Thursday night at the Golden Pony in Harrisonburg. And then after a quick trip to North Carolina, he will be at the State Fair of Virginia on Monday, headlining on the big stage down there. And if you've missed some of the show or you're driving home and you'd like to see what Will looks like, he's a handsome dude. This show will be archived on our YouTube channel and on our Facebook channel. Just search WTJU. Let's get back to Will.
Man, you're really plugging me there. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Just did a song kind of about my mom, so I'm going to do one now. Kind of sort of about my dad. As if you just tuned into the show, I was talking earlier about moving to Nashville, then moving back home to Virginia Beach, and then moving back to Nashville. And I moved away from Nashville for the first time in a hurry. A lot of things happened in my life on a personal end, and I moved back to Virginia. Actually, moved back to Afton, above a horse barn for a little minute, and then I quickly realized that when you're going through deep personal problems in your life, being alone in the mountains in a horse barn's not the best thing for you. So, so my dad reached out and was like, "Hey, come crash with me. I'll cook you supper, and you can, get yourself together and live with Dad for a little bit." So living with Dad for a little bit ended up being a year with my dad in Virginia Beach. And if you're listening over the radio, you can't see me, but if you could, you'd see that I'm too old to live with my dad. But as weird as the time was, and it was weird, it was beautiful. All my high school buddies were married and buying houses and getting golden retrievers and joining the country club and buying boats, and I was sleeping on an air mattress in my dad's office and like being a touring musician. it was a strange existence. But I play this song now with really nothing but gratitude, because I got to live with my dad for a year at 29 and he was 59, and I don't know if I'll ever get, a chance like that again. And we had a really wonderful time together. So it's a heavy song. It came from a heavy time, but it's really just the words are filled with gratitude now. And I can't wait to put the song out next year. It's called The Bottom, and I hope you guys enjoy it.
All my friends are on the rise. I can't say the same for me. Getting made partner down at the firm, and Stefan's making bank in Tennessee. Yeah, Stefan's making bank in Tennessee. When the boys come to town, we grab a pint and they joke how I'm living in reverse. They're drinking too many and I'm drinking too much, but in the morning their wallets don't hurt. But now I'm driving and I'm wondering where I went wrong. When I was a younger man, I thought I was the chosen one. Now I'm just another son, asking my dad, oh, when does a man know he's done? I've lost so much, gave up on my wife, I've questioned my life, shot up on myself and got high on my pride. I've climbed and I've climbed only to find the bottom. Now I'm sitting on the bottom. And hometown chores are different now, 'cause home's not where I wanna be. It's getting harder to measure the progress I make, but what matters is it makes sense to me. Does this make sense to me? Well, I'll keep on driving to meet the man I'll become, but the passenger seat is empty. What's freedom worth all alone? Now I'm just another son, asking my dad, oh, when does a man know he's done? I've lost so much, gave up on my wife, I've questioned my life, shot up on myself and got high on my pride. I've climbed and I've climbed only to find the bottom. Now I'm sitting on the bottom. I'm sitting on the bottom.
Thank you, guys. Thank y'all.
You know what's so crazy about that song is that how many people that are sitting out here would give anything to be in your shoes up on the stage. And isn't that ironic?
Absolutely.
Hey, so you're very active on social media. We've got about 6 minutes here before the top of the hour, but you're very active on social media. You put out a great newsletter monthly. How can people follow you?
Best way to follow me is social media. I'm probably the most active on Instagram. My handle's just at Will Overman. It's pretty easy to find me. You'll see a hairier version of myself pop up. I'm also on TikTok. I'm on Facebook. If you're old school, just go to my website, willovermanmusic.com, which is where you can sign up for that newsletter. I think in this day and age, I get a lot more enjoyment out of the more personal connection of the newsletter. So if you want to hear from me once a month and you know what's really going on in my life and what I'm listening to, what I'm writing, check out that newsletter. And yeah, that's where you can find me. Just look up Will Overman online, and I promise I'll pop up.
I know you take people through some of your song thoughts and songwriting. It's funny, I receive a bunch of those, and it's right up there. Taylor Goldsmith of Dawes, he puts out a kind of a weekly newsletter, and and then of course they're on they've got a pay for view, and they release demos and new songs and things like that. I had a final question for you before we get back.
Yeah.
The financials of being a touring musician now are not easy. Can you just tell us how do you make money when you're out on the road?
Oh man, that's a good question. It's a good question, and I'm always trying to answer it. You know, I think the longer I do this, the more I realize that there's no one stream of revenue as a touring musician. You know, be it the streaming royalties you get, the radio royalties, plus the show pays, or the part-time job you're working. I'm just realizing there's no one right way to do it. But as far as, you know, to everyone listening to this program right now, I still make my money by playing shows. So when folks pay for tickets and buy merch and come see me, that's the best way that I can. That's the greatest return on the dollar for me.
And that's why I ask that, because there are people that are rooting for you. We saw Jason Isbell not too long ago down at the Ting, and people were throwing requests out at him, and Jason had a line that said, hey, since Spotify, I don't take requests anymore, but if you put one on a record receipt and bring it to me, I may honor that one.
Oh yeah, I saw that, and he's so right. I mean, that's where we make our money. I mean, if you buy a vinyl, my manager sitting here probably has the math, but if you buy a vinyl, it's worth 10 billion streams on Spotify, not verbatim, but it's worth a lot.
Well, that's good for everyone to know and support your artists. That's what it's all about. Hey, we got time for one more, Will.
All right, right on. Let's see here. I'm going to do, why not change guitars for the last song? Nothing could go wrong here. I'm going to play another one off the upcoming record. And this one is, it's kind of, it's about everything I've talked about. I feel very landlocked in where I'm currently living, and it is about that, literally being landlocked. But when COVID hit, I couldn't tour anymore. I couldn't do what makes me feel the most whole, and I had a really hard time with it. And I tried to kind of figure out why I like to move so much and why I like to be on the road. And for a while, I thought there was something wrong with me. And I thought that I was running from something. And I sought a lot of help over COVID. I went to therapy, and I discovered a lot of things about myself and worked through a lot of issues, which was great. But I ultimately realized that I just like to move, and that's okay. I like to be on the road. And this song's a little shout out to that part of me. And for anybody else who just likes to just be in motion, I understand and I get it for you. This is called Landlocked Heart, and thank you guys so much for listening to me today. Wherever you're listening, at home, in your car, at the office, my name is Will Overman, and I appreciate you letting me have your space and your time today.
He lived out of a bag, will read my epitaph. 10 years on the road, not much to show but a show. Late nights in the van, and I don't know where I am. Loading in and loading out, I never get to see the town, but I'm flying. No, I can't have a landlocked heart. I've been that way right from the start. I was born to leave all those around me. I got so many friends, they don't know me. I need to feel salt in my face, taste the wind when I pray. I leave more on shore every time I depart, but I can't have a landlocked heart. Is this an anchor or a sail? Am I just chasing fairy tales? 'Cause I'm 4 weeks in, my phone is dead. I'm homesick and I'm sick of this. I drove 20 hours round trip for an hour-long hit. And no, I can't have a landlocked heart. I've been that way right from the start. I was born to leave all those around me. I got so many friends, they don't know me. I need to feel salt on my face, taste the wind when I pray. I lean more on shore every time I depart, but I can't have a landlocked heart. A landlocked heart. A landlocked heart. Now I know I can't have a landlocked heart. I've been that way right from the start. I was born to leave all those around me. I got so many friends, they don't know me. I need to feel salt on my face, taste the wind when I pray. I lean more on shore every time I depart, but I can't have a landlocked heart. Thank you guys so much for listening to me.